Hello friends, welcome back. Doing a 6-month update on the 3-spine Stickleback Aquarium. So, as you can see, they are a lot bigger. So, probably about twice the size of my last update. They're doing very well. There are 8 of them now. Shortly after the first video, I think it was like literally 2 or 3 days. Not the first video, sorry. Previous video. It's about 2 or 3 days. One of them died, and I'm pretty sure it was from the ick. I don't think it was able to recover, unfortunately. But these 8 have done very well. They seem fairly happy. The reason they're all congregating up here in the front is they think I'm going to feed them a second time in a row, which, I think they've learned by now. They have not. Except him. He hides in that back corner most of the time, or underneath the stick. That is his area. That's actually the one that in the last video was over here in this corner guarding his patch of moss. Still fairly territorial. He doesn't bully the other ones as much, though, anymore. I think that's partially because they're all about the same size as him now. You'll notice that there is no more moss. That is because they tore it up. Sticklebacks they're messy. They like to just pick at things and pull things apart, move them around. There was one point they literally moved an entire chunk of moss from like over here to the middle of the tank. And then it ended up in like 3 different pieces and the bubbles were blowing it around. So yeah, I took all that out, replaced it with fake plants so they'd quit tearing it up, but still have somewhere to hide. You'll notice I moved the bubble to the back corner, and that's just kind of give a little bit more space for them to roam around. That way it's not in the middle, and it's not as intrusive. A lot of algae. Been trying to keep that clean. I cleaned the front of it for this video. It is a hassle to keep up with, and unfortunately I don't have the equipment to clean the substrate, which is part of what I'd need to do to help get some of that algae out, I think. So, it's... I really don't have the funds to get the equipment either, so... yeah, so in the meantime, we just deal with that. The algae and the sticklebacks are, by and large, fairly happy. Or seem to be, anyway. So I was rewatching the previous video, and I realized I misspoke as to why 3-spine sticklebacks are called that. Turns out they're actually called 3-spine sticklebacks because they're supposed to have 3 spines along the dorsal line. Mine don't. I think mine have 2. And that's it. See, thank you for flaring those up right then. That was good timing. Yeah, most of mine have 2. One of them has 1. So that's just a mutation from the specific stickleback. That is something that happens pretty frequently with sticklebacks. Not necessarily missing dorsal fins, but they have a pretty diverse excuse me. They have pretty diverse genetics, so much so to the point where there are some scientists who would classify sticklebacks in every different body of water as a different species. And that's mostly just because these are very hardy fish. They adapt very quickly to new environments. Usually within a couple generations, they'll have genetically adapted and changed to optimally survive in whatever their new environment is. So that's part of why they're really cool. So let me see if I can. I haven't named most of them. This little guy here, he is always ready to eat. He's a little bit misshapen. I refer to him as Quasimodo because he's kind of got that hunchback. We've got Ein, the 1-spine one. I think that's him right there. He's maybe not. No, he's got 2 spines. I don't know where he's at. Oh, there he is. He's still pretty bright green. The color changes on these guys just as they grow. I don't know. It may also change from mood. I'm not sure. They do tend to get paler at night. I don't know if that's just because there's less blood flow while they're sleeping or something. I'm not sure. But they get a lot more coloration once I turn the lights on. And by that I mean like they actually take a little bit of time to color up, and maybe I'll make a video on that at some point. If you're interested, I'm actually making this video because it was requested. So, yeah. Here you go, OK Lars, I believe was your name. Anyway, yeah, let me move over here, give you guys an update on the ecosphere. So, as you can see, there's it's a lot clearer than the last time I updated it. There's a lot of copepods, I think, in there. There are a lot of snails. I don't know where they all went. It's like they disappeared or hiding or moved. But there were a lot of... I'm trying to remember the name of the worm. Oh, it's escaping me, but they're the little wiggly guys that stick up out of the ground and they wiggle around. Anyway, yeah, so it's thriving pretty well. The algae's receding. I'm not sure if that's a good sign or bad. It was kind of taking over the whole jar for a long time. But a bunch of the snail eggs hatched, and so there's just tiny snails all over the place, and they are absolutely grazing the heck out of the algae. So I don't know if the algae is going to be able to keep up. We'll see if it keeps sustaining itself. I've had this jar, 7 or 8 months, something like that. So they're doing pretty well. I know a lot of these tend to die out after about 8 months, so could be hitting that. So this will be kind of the make it or break it. Generally, from what I've seen, ecospheres, if they make it past 8 months, they can go pretty much indefinitely. Unless something major happens with like weather or you leave them in the wrong spot. Over here we have the terrarium ecosphere. It's mostly just moss at the moment. I know there are some worms in there. I think there might be some nematodes roaming around. There may be springtails. I don't know. I know I saw a couple when I first closed it, or at least one when it was first sealed. Let me see if I can get that better in focus. The lighting. But it's... I haven't seen them since then, so I don't know if they're still there and just hiding, or if they've died out, or what. But yeah, the moss seems to be growing fine. There's definitely some molds that grow in there, and those will reproduce really fast, and then they'll recede, and then they'll show up again, and so that kind of fluctuates. Oh yeah, in here, I have another video somewhere, it's a brief clip where there's some sort of insect nymph in here. Not sure what it is, but it was crawling up the glass at one point. I was very surprised that was not only in there, but that it was still alive. I know there are also some leeches in here. As far as I know, they're still alive. They come and go. I do occasionally see them, though. They feed on... I mean, they've got plenty of food. So they feed on the snails and the copepods, so... Yeah, there's actually quite a bit of... a fairly high number of species in here. There were there were 3 snail species. One of them there was only one of. I haven't seen that one in a long time. And then the other snail species was much bigger than the current ones that are roaming around everywhere. And I haven't seen... And there were 2 of them. And I haven't seen either of them in quite a while. So, Not sure what happened to them, or if they died, or what. Anyway, so yeah, 6-month update. Little overdue. 6 months, I think, was. See what time is, or what day is it? Oh, I don't know. I'll figure it out later. But yeah. So yeah, they're doing pretty well. Don't really have much else to add. Still think sticklebacks are really cool. And yeah, I think that's about it. I'll see you. Well, no, actually, I won't see you. Talk to you guys all next time. Love you. Bye.